What's up everyone, ODC, that's me here. In today's review we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe direct-to-consumer aka DTC Bat Attack 6-pack. I think this is a really nice 6-pack. Was really looking forward to picking this up. I was looking for it for quite some time, but for some reason all the DTC series figures keep going up and up in price, so I'm glad I got this for a reasonable price, more than reasonable price actually. And I think all of these really work well nicely with your modern Joes. And we get a couple different versions of the bats here. As you can see, we got Overkill right here, and then we have Bat version 5, Bat version 4, and Bat version 4, Bat version 3, and then we all know what Bat version 2 looks like. These are the more updated bats as far as design goes and functionality, and it's nice that we get a nice little evolution of the Bat Android Trooper right here. So it's pretty nice, or the Battle Android Trooper, excuse me. It's also really cool that it comes with Overkill, the leader of the Cobra bats. So it's nice to have another Cobra, I guess you could call it Cobra leader. There is the read-up for Overkill. If you want to pause it and read it, you can. And then here is the read-up for the Bat version 5. Here's the read-up for version 4. And here is the read-up for version 3. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get all 6 of these guys out of package, and we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back with all 6 figures out of the package, and I gotta say that this 6-pack is pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with the overall product here. I know some of these were considered re-releases at this point. I believe Bat version 4 was in Valor vs. Venom. Bat version 3 was in G.I. Joe vs. Cobra. And then these guys, I'm pretty sure these guys are part of the newer portion to the line, the Bat version 5. Which is the most updated version that we have besides, what was it, Sigma 6 did a couple bats, I think a Sky Bat, and then Sigma 6 also did a Ninja Bat. So, and those guys are actually a little bit taller, they're about 8 inches tall. I was actually thinking about picking a couple of those up as maybe like Bat Enforcers or something like that, to still be used. But over here we have Overkill. I believe this is the 3rd version of Overkill, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think it looks pretty good. I think all of these, as far as designs go, look really nicely done. I really am a big fan of these new bats, and just reading up on the new bats, I'm pretty impressed. Reading up, I mean, we pretty much know the read-up on these two, because they've been out before. But this is a pretty cool read-up. And I know I showed you guys the file cards, and I said, oh, you can pause it and read it if you want. But I'll just go over it, because I feel like some of these cards are pretty interesting, because it does differentiate what each bat can do, and I think that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to go over it really quick. As far as the Bat version 3, he's like, how can I put this? He is like the cannon fodder of cannon fodder. You thought the Bat version 1 and 2 were cannon fodder? No, 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 no. It pretty much says in the file card that they're cannon fodder. In the first sentence, it says, the Cobra Bat groups are expendable cannon fodder for Cobra. What does that tell you right there? It just goes to show you, and I'll give you guys a close-up of what he looks like, that they're not the most well-built, and you can see the progression just from what it says in the file cards, as this is kind of like an evolution of the Battle Android Troopers. It says components are manufactured cheaply in foreign factories and assembled in secret plants by Cobra Vipers on punishment duty. Final assembly is expected to be completed by the Cobra Bat troopers themselves. So pretty much, once these are assembled by Cobra Vipers, then they start assembling others. So that's pretty crazy that you have androids or robots making robots. I would think that... Well, I mean, it's not really crazy. I mean, we do have, like, machines that make other machines, so I guess it's not too crazy, but I just thought it sounded kind of weird that the overseeing of the product is the product itself. They are a larger style bat. I think they're the tallest, the most imposing bat out of this set, and out of all the bats that have been released as far as design goes. So, I mean, that's something. I mean, I guess you could use these guys as, like, maybe like some sort of bodyguard or enforcer or just front of the lines type if you wanted to. It does talk about their vulnerabilities, which is pretty much the back of them. And by the back of them, I'm pretty sure that they meant the head, since, as you can see right here, the head is pretty well exposed. So I'm assuming that, and that seems to be like the ongoing weakness with a lot of these, are the eyes with the version 5s and the eyes with, or the head with version 4. So when hit from behind, they burst into flames. So I'm pretty sure that when they mean when they get hit from behind is probably the head, seeing as it's so exposed like that. But this is a really cool figure. I really like the design. I think it's a nice progression also with the eyes, as we can see here in version 1. And this is from Pursuit of Cobra. As you can see in version 1 here, it's pretty much got a little bit, it harnecks back to the version 1 a little bit by having that silver kind of pale, blankless face, to giving it a little bit of character. And I really dig that. It shows a nice little progression here. It also shows that we've got some armor here. This has been upgraded a little bit from version 1. And if they're calling these guys cannon fodder and they've been upgraded, then, oh my god, what were these? Ooh. But it's pretty cool because you can remove the chest piece, the armor piece as I like to call it, and you have a nice little reactor here, I'll just call it, in the chest. And this does peg in nice and tight, so it stays on. I would be careful because I have seen a lot of these bats up on eBay, but it seems to be that the chest piece is missing. The arms are removable and interchangeable, so you can take this arm out if you want to, and you can replace it with another arm. Where are the other arms? Here it is. Here's the other arm and the backpack that he comes with. It's pretty much just a Cobra symbol here, with a couple hook hangers right there for the arm. And here's the arm he comes with in package. What you want to do is you want to line this up. It does have a groove right here, and each of his attachments, both of them, they do have a groove placing. So this is very similar to the Bat version 2, what the Bat version 2s came with. They came with this large bladed weapon right here. I almost wanted to say pike, but it's not a pike, so I'll just say large bladed weapon and just call it a day. Unfortunately, the cool part is that, as you can see here, it can't hang, but we just slide it in right there, and then we attach it to his back, and it works perfectly like that. So if you wanted to have this hanging there, because your Bat version 2s usually have this, at least that's what I think of when I think of a bat, the V2 bat. So I'm going to go with this, and then have him with the backpack on there. Look at this large, imposing cannon he's got here. It doesn't say specifically what this is. I kind of wish it did, but it's okay. I'll just make it up in my own mind. As far as the version 3's articulation, the head can swivel, and I'm just going to take the backpack off just so we can get full range of motion here. The head can swivel, and it's on a ball peg joint, and it can look forward and back, and it can pivot side to side just a little bit, not too much, but it can do a full 360 rotation. Arms go up about that far, down, full 360 right there. a single bend at the elbow. Really good range of motion there on the left-hand side. On the right, his right side, it does his weapon does get in the way just a tad, but it's okay. No swivel in the wrists or anything like that. He does have an O-ring, so you pretty much have that articulation and range of motion. You can pretty much do this and this and this and turn him all the way around. Just be careful and note that you do have an O-ring in there, so it can over time wear down and break. Legs go out, forward, and they don't go back due to the sculpting of the rear end. And he has a single bend at the knee, good range of motion there, and no ankle articulation. So that's kind of their downfall in this set, is that no one really has any ankle articulation of any kind. So that's where the B.A.T version 1 really does strive, is, I would say, Poseability. Seeing as this is an older set anyway, and the B.A.T version 1s that we've got for the modern era have been updated with the 25th anniversary and up articulation. Moving on to the B.A.T version 4. Now these guys are a bit upgraded from these, but they're in their own way. They're the lighter, faster, tougher version, and they're also better armed than the previous B.A.Ts before them. So that's pretty cool to see. Also, these guys are good for a nice helicopter landing, so if you need them to jump off a helicopter and not have to worry about them breaking, they can do so. So that's pretty cool. What was it? It says they are capable of continuing to fight with over 80% of their mass shot away. So that's a big coup for Cobra here. Could you imagine fighting one of these guys and you're shooting their arms off and you're shooting a leg off, or you shoot the whole torso off, and it's still crawling towards you. It's kind of reminiscent of Terminator, the first Terminator, when at the very end the T-800 is still crawling towards Sarah Connor and trying to grab her. Very reminiscent of that, where as the older B.A.Ts, it would kind of burst into flames or explode or implode. But these guys are a little bit more durable, and that's what it's pretty much noting here. And I like the overall design, to be honest with you. I don't know if it 100% matches the artwork here. He's kind of got a flatter head, but I guess it does a little bit. It's not showing the antennae that he has here. But I actually like the antennae. I think that looks pretty cool. He also is utilizing the O-ring style, seeing as this is an older figure, just pretty much repacked. Don't really have a problem with it. I think the O-ring is nice, tight O-ring, and if I ever need to replace it, I know how to. So that's no big deal there. But there are some flaws, and it's pretty much the eyes. It pretty much says that his vulnerability is the eyeballs, and him having a little bit of a lighter armor. So I'm guessing that his capabilities aren't as strong. Maybe he can't take as much damage from as version 3 can, seeing as he's a much larger version. But this guy is much faster, so that's kind of creepy. I think the overall sculpt on him looks really good. I like the pants, and I really like that the pants kind of end. So he's kind of wearing like these, maybe, I don't know, shorts or capris or whatever. But they give this really kind of creepy AI leg, almost inverted, kind of like a dog's leg here. So you can definitely tell that these guys can run fast. They're agile, which is, like I keep saying, pretty creepy. They also include a backpack as well. Unfortunately, on this version of the B.A.T, the backpack doesn't sit flush, so that's kind of a pooper right there, but no big deal. The arms, it also uses the same backpack as the version 3. As you can see, there's the hole for the long, elongated, bladed weapon. But he also does come with another interchangeable arm. The unfortunate part is that you can't put his arm or his hands, his interchangeable hands, on the backpack anywhere. So that's unfortunate. But If you just want to have him rolling like this, dual wielding, which I think makes a little bit more sense as far as utilizing him. I think it looks pretty cool. He's a little bit on the slender side, but it fits what the file card says for him, seeing he's supposed to be a lighter, faster trooper. So that's pretty cool. I like the overall sculpt of him, as I'm repeating myself, but I can't help it. The sculpt on these guys are really well done. The only issues that I really have with this is that the O-ring is really kind of throwing off the flow of this figure. It's wanting to push this torso back naturally, and kind of he's hunched forward, which kind of sucks, but it's not the worst thing in the world. His face sculpt does give off that kind of Ultron look to it, but I think it looks pretty awesome. The other issue that I have with this is that the legs keep wanting to go in towards each other. I can't get these to naturally want to stand, and every time I try to stand him, he's probably the one with the most problems trying to stand. As you can see right there, as soon as they touch something, they want to go back together. So you kind of have to work with him just a little bit. There also is a blue version of him that came in a 2-pack with another Bat Trooper, I believe a different colored version of him. And there's also another version where he came with a Joe. I can't remember who it was, but as far as his articulation does go, his head can swivel full 360. His head can move a little bit here. It can't really, I guess a little bit tilt side to side. Arms go up, down, full 360 rotation. He does have a single bend at the elbow, same on the other side as far as range of motion goes. You can swivel both interchangeable hands, and I'll just take this out and show you. You can swivel them nicely. No bicep swivel, no arm swivel of any kind. He does have the typical O-ring style articulation here. Legs go out in a split, forward and back, single bend at the knee, and that's pretty much it for his articulation. Okay, moving on to version 5 of the Bat. Now this is the most updated version that we've gotten from the Bats in quite some time. I mean, Hasbro keeps releasing version 1, version 1, version 1, version 1, version 1. It's like, come on, man, give us a new stylized, updated version. I mean, this is pretty cool, don't get me wrong. I think this might actually be one of my favorite looks for the Bat. These guys are definitely a huge upgrade over version 4 and version 3 and version 2 and version 1. So these are the ones that you want to have. And I didn't know too much about them, so I actually will reread this because I think they're quite interesting. It says Cobra Bat version 5. The Cobra Bat forces are basic infantry of the Cobra organization. The 5.0 upgrade has a propulsion pack that launches it into the air to escape enemy fire or surprise its target with a vertical drop attack. They have rocket launchers on each side of the arm with smart technology to lock onto targets not in the line of sight. Most dangerous of all, when they are blown apart, their separate parts rejoin into a monstrous new formation to continue the battle. Their one vulnerable area is the central venom-infused circuit board located in the head. I'm assuming that's the eyes. Damage to this system prevents from any activating of regeneration program. Also, blowing them up into the tiniest pieces imaginable seems to do the job as well. Yeah, and it says right here is the quote. It says, "They are no longer tin cans with legs and a grenade. These things can rebuild themselves, can think and rebuild themselves. We have to stop them." So these are huge upgrades. I mean, you heard what they're all about. I don't really need to go into detail and explain any more of it because it says it right there. It's a nice detailed description, and I miss that with Joe cards. It really gave you the heads up of what's going on with this guy, and these guys are friggin' scary, man. I really like the sculpt on him on this one. It really sets itself apart from all the other versions that we've got as far as the bats. And yeah, this is really nice. I like the backpack, how it's different as well. It's not just another one of these. And I think this really does make sense. Now you can have these arms pointed down. I just like the way that it fits better with the arms pointed out. I know it looks a little silly, but you can have them posed down if you want to. But the arms are interchangeable here, as you can see here. In the other version, you can pretty much just pop the arm out. It's a little socket on the inside of the arm, and you just pretty much pull it out like that, like so. So these guys are nimble, and they can also regenerate, which is pretty crazy. So, and by regenerate, pretty much think of like a lizard. So if an arm gets shot off, he can pick up another arm and just pretty much stick one on, or you know, I'm guessing regenerate means grow one, right? Wouldn't that mean... Oh, no, it says rejoin new parts. Okay. So he can just grab another arm from maybe if there's like a BAT version 3 or version 4 lying around, or another version 5. He can grab those pieces and fix himself really quick. So that's really interesting. I would like to know more about these guys. I'd like to see these guys in a animated series down the road or something like that. And if you look at the Sigma 6... which for some reason I want to think that the Sigma 6 figure, since that line came out after this line did, the DTC line, I like to think that those are the next step, the larger bats, maybe a larger target, but still a more imposing and probably more damaging bat. But these guys are pretty crazy, and as for as small as they are, they're actually just a little bit... they're almost on the same size as version 4, which is the smallest. He's definitely smaller than the version 3. Version 3 is tall. He's pretty much on par with Overkill as well. And if you look at those together, they do look like they're using almost a similar design here. A little bit different, but almost like a similar style. As you can see, the torso on Overkill here is raised from the lower torso as a connecting point. So, and they're sharing that kind of look. Not at 100% the same. I'm just saying similar in certain aspects. But this head, I really like this head sculpt. It's very creepy. It just looks like it's soulless in there. You can pick up some character in these two guys, but this just looks like it is just programmed to murder. That's it. That's all. I like the little sculpted hands that they have here on his weapons, or his weaponry here, his cannons. Those are pretty cool. Yeah, these guys are really awesome. I definitely like these. As far as the version 5's articulation does go, his head can swivel at full 360 rotation. It's pretty much just a swivel rotation. There's no pivot, joint, or anything like that in it. So that's pretty much it for that. The arms go up, all the way up, about that far, and they go down, full 360 rotation. He's got a single bend at the elbow, nice range of motion there, nice 90-degree angle, a little bit more than 90 degrees actually. And then we have a swivel at the waist, and no pivot joint there. It's just pretty much a swivel. He does have really good range of motion, better range of motion than these two guys as far as doing the splits. And then his legs go forward nicely, they go back nicely. Really good bend at the knee. It's probably the best out of anyone in the set. And then no ankle articulation, unfortunately. These guys, I think all these figures would have really benefited from ankle articulation, especially even if they would have given Overkill some ankle articulation here. But it's okay. It's not bad. They all stand fairly easy. So that's pretty much it for the BAT version 5, which I think is the most impressive in the box set. Moving on to Overkill. Overkill is, in case you didn't know, he is the Battle Android Trooper leader. Overkill is only half human to begin with. That's pretty much what I just said. Over 50% of his body has been replaced with mechanical parts, so he has little humanity left to bother him. This means that he truly enjoys performing evil missions and doesn't have any twinges of his conscience getting in the way. What feelings he had left were digitally tweaked to not interfere with his duty as the battle commander of the Cobra B.A.T legions. Mechanical and computerized upgrades have made him a formidable opponent for the G.I. Joe team. He has become the leader of the robot army and is turning them into a powerful fighting force. Overkill sees his chance to increase his power for the Cobra organization, and he's going to take it. Whoever stands in his way will be crushed beneath his metallic feet of his robot army. Excuse me. And then his quote here, it's pretty cool. It says, "I am not simply programmed to destroy the G.I. Joe team. I personally want to shut them down and guarantee they never return." So this guy's pretty awesome. I really like his character, to be honest with you. I like his sculpt. He's simplistic. He does not come with a backpack. There's kind of this gaping hole right here, which is not a big... It's kind of an eyesore. But I like this look the best, I think, for Overkill as far as his other versions go. As far as his articulation does go, his head can swivel full 360 rotation. No pivot or anything. It's pretty much similar to the version 5. Arms go up, down, full 360 rotation. Single bend at the elbow. No wrist articulation. Here's the actually better range of motion in the right arm than the left. He does have a swivel at the waist. T-jointed hips, which go out, and legs go forward, and legs go back, and a single bend at the knee, and that's pretty much it. So simplistic as far as his articulation, but really good range of motion, I think, for the most part, in the arms and the legs. Even though he is hindered by not having ankle articulation and no thigh swivel, but that's okay. I mean, we don't have thigh swivels with G.I. Joes. We know that going into this. I like the sculpt, and we finally get to see his, his face here, which is really cool, and it is covered. His mouth is pretty much covered up, which wants me to think that maybe his jaw was removed or something like that. I'm not sure. But he looks pretty awesome. I think I would have preferred maybe like a black Cobra insignia right here, because it's kind of blending in too much with his armor here. So maybe that would have sufficed as far as the logo sticking out, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. I like the color of the bronze with the almost like metallic silver here. Looks really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'll bring in the Cobra B.A.T version 1 for a little size comparison with everybody else. And there we are. The Cobra B.A.T version 1 seems to be taller than Overkill by a little bit, taller than version 5 and taller than version 4, but not taller than version 3. Version 3 is the tallest out of all of these. So this is definitely a really cool set. I've definitely had a great time doing this review. I would definitely give this 2 thumbs up and highly suggest you pick up this 6-pack. I know it's starting to go further and further up in price, so be wary of that. But yeah, I think this is a solid pickup, and definitely going to recommend it. So if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.